Hey, what's up guys? It's Marf and welcome back to another Asphalt 9 video. Today we will be taking a look at the McLaren GT as well as talking about my first impressions regarding the new British Tour season format. So first, let's go over the McLaren GT. Not only has it been placed right above all of the other C-Class cars, but it also is the first car to be released within the new British Tour format alongside the Lotus Emira. So let's talk about that for a sec because obviously it is placed right at the tippy top of the C-Class cars, so we're expecting it to be very, very good. In fact, it does do really well, but there are some things that you should take some note of because it is a very easy car to unlock, as we'll discuss later, but it isn't necessarily going to be the new king. So in terms of top speed, it's basically right alongside the Gallardo. They both have pretty similar top speeds, but what really differentiates these cars is the acceleration. That is where the McLaren GT shines. It has a max acceleration of basically 81 compared to the Gallardo's acceleration of around 76. So that is a pretty significant difference, and you'll notice that early on in races, right at the start really, as well as coming out of corners, the GT is going to get up to top speed much quicker than the Gallardo, so that's something to keep in mind. Now with the handling, this car feels weird because it isn't as bouncy as the Gallardo, and it definitely feels more planted on the ground. Its stats for handling is actually worse than the Gallardo, so you will notice that it does feel a bit slower around those longer corners. So the handling is where this car kind of falls apart in its king status, because it weirdly is similar to the Gallardo, but its handling is just a bit worse to the point where it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be going way faster than the Gallardo all of the time. And lastly, the Nitro is pretty average. It's just a bit worse than the Gallardo, but it's still manageable, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just like a lot of the other faster C-Class cars, the Nitro efficiency is not necessarily that good, but if you have good Nitro management skills, it won't really be too much of a problem. So overall, I definitely recommend going for this car, and as we'll talk about a bit later, it is easy to at least unlock it, and it is pretty good at stock compared to the Gallardo, but overall, I wouldn't necessarily say that this is the new definite king of C-Class, but it definitely can compete with the Aranera and the Gallardo on a lot of the tracks, and in fact, it will be faster than the Gallardo because of that acceleration. So yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with the performance of the McLaren GT, but I wouldn't necessarily call it the new definite king of C-Class. So obviously this is the first car to be officially released within the British Tour season format, and like I mentioned earlier, this car is really easy to unlock, and I'm quite happy about that. During the star hunt, I was really impressed with the drop rates for this car. It didn't feel like grinding through a car hunt because every, I would say 4 or 5 packs, I was getting a blueprint. So I've already unlocked this car at 1 star, and currently in the Grand Prix, I'm on my way to getting 2 stars, and I'm still not even, complete with all the conditions in the star hunt. So I have more blueprints possibly to get, and you'll notice that a lot of people have been getting this car pretty quickly as well. So just, first impressions on what the star hunt is, I am quite impressed. If GameLoft keeps up these drop rates for the blueprints, I think most players are going to be happy with this event. Now, of course, as we get to cars that are in higher classes, we will obviously have, higher requirements for blueprints. So I can imagine in the future, if there's a blueprint requirement of 60, it's going to be very, very annoying and tedious to get through the star hunt, but it is better than a normal car hunt, so I'll give it that. And any improvement to the events in Asphalt 9 at this point is a good thing, so I'm happy to see that it's at least easier. Now, in terms of the Grand Prix, it's really just a standard Grand Prix, but in replacement of a key, you will just be getting more blueprints for this car. Now, I do have to mention that for other cars, in Asphalt 9, like the Jaguar XJ220 that have a key, this Grand Prix will give you that key. So I guess it's just for the cars that don't have a key, you will just be getting blueprints, which I guess is a good thing, but it makes the sort of placements a bit weird because now a lot of people might decide not to sandbag, which is actually could be a good thing. So we're gonna have to see how that plays out, but I assume a lot of players will be sandbagging regardless just because of the way that the blueprint distribution works. But overall, I think the Grand Prix is not the worst event, so I'm happy that it's a part of this whole British Tour format. But like I said, I have been pleasantly surprised. Talking about the weekend rampage for a bit, that was the sort of car hunt that is coming every weekend for the Lotus Emira. And with the first weekend, I managed to get half of the required blueprints at around 15 blueprints. So it's not the best outcome, nor it is the worst. So I'm looking forward to the next weekend to possibly unlocking it. We're going to have to see though, because if you need this car at max, that is going to be really annoying. But if you only just need to unlock it at maybe 1 or 2 stars, then I think this is going to be a decent format. I'm happy that it's definitely coming every weekend with more rewards instead of just being a constant car hunt where you just have to play all the time and the drop rates are pretty bad. So I'm pleasantly surprised as well with the weekend rampage. But you know, it's not the best thing ever in Asphalt 9, nor is the star hunt. But overall, I'm pleasantly surprised. Like I said, we're getting cars and they seem to be pretty easily unlockable, which is nice. And yeah, so let me know your thoughts of the new British Tour season format in the comment section down below, as well as the McLaren GT, and I will see you guys in the next one.